What's up, mobile home park investors? Mike here, and I am super excited in this module to share with you the entire 30-day mobile home park investment process. Now let me explain why we decided to create this video and place it right here at the very beginning of the program. If you're anything like me, sometimes it's helpful to see the entire process start to finish before diving into step one. This way you know what to expect, you can plan accordingly, and you're not flying without instruments. This video will be your map for the course and will help you plan out your own personalized path and investment journey. Keep in mind, everything we cover in this video will be covered in immense detail throughout the course. We plan to provide you with every resource you could possibly need to find, close, optimize, and manage your first park or your growing portfolio. So without further ado, let's dive into the 30-day process. The first thing that we'll discuss is mindset. And this is arguably one of the most important parts of this course. Without the proper mindset, none of the goals that you set out to achieve are possible. You need to operate with a level of confidence and the knowledge that if you put in the work, no matter how long it takes, you can accomplish anything. Well, pretty much anything. After we develop the proper mindset, we'll talk about what you need to know about mobile home parks if you aren't already familiar with their operations. Here we'll learn about the key terminology that you'll need in order to be a successful mobile home park owner and operator. Now that you have a baseline knowledge of what mobile home parks are and the different ways that they operate, we'll jump into the finance concepts that you'll need for the rest of the course. The finance knowledge and the tools that you will learn in this module will help you start to think like a true real estate investment professional. And after all, building a real estate portfolio is as much about finance as it is about operations. Following the finance module, we'll talk about you. This module will focus on your individual investor strategy. Here we're going to be introspective and hone in on our lifestyle goals. What do we personally want to achieve from mobile home park investment? This will vary person to person, and I can guarantee you, this will not be an easy module. The ultimate answer will lie within you, and some of you may have to do some digging to find that answer. However, once we do find it, we'll use your answer to help you create a personal business plan for your short-term and long-term strategy. This business plan will be your compass for the rest of the course. Okay, now that we have our compass and the academic knowledge to trek out into the wilderness, we'll begin the practical part of this course with finding deals. Here we're going to talk about the various methods of filling your deal pipeline. We'll cover many different channels like the MLS, brokers, Facebook listings, mailers, and the oh-so-dreaded, but oh-so-important cold calling. We'll walk you through how to organize the deals in your pipeline so that you have a good record of what you've already analyzed, its current status, and whether you want to pursue it further. This is our first funnel that we will fill with potential deals. As our deals make their way down the funnel, many of them will never make it to the bottom. The deals that never make it to the bottom are the ones where the broker never emails us back. The park owner we cold called tells us to take a hike, or another investor beats us to the punch. The ones that do make it all the way to the bottom are going to move into the next step. This next step is another smaller funnel called initial due diligence. This is typically a quick information gathering process that will help us decide whether to rule out a park or send a letter of intent to get the deal under contract. Here, even less deals will come out of the bottom of the funnel. And those deals are the ones we will want to make an offer on. It's likely that if you've decided that these are deals worth pursuing, that others have come to the same conclusion. So that means we need to move quick and send out that letter of intent. And that will bring us to the next module, starting the acquisitions process. This will include all of the more intense due diligence exercises. We'll be gathering a lot more information, heavily scrutinizing the existing financials, testing the assumptions that are currently in place, making realistic assumptions for the future, and modeling the deal to make a more accurate estimate of returns. In addition to that, we'll be overseeing any necessary inspections and discussing zoning and entitlements with the municipality. Finally, we'll be physically walking the park to find things that we wouldn't see otherwise. Throughout this acquisitions process, we'll be gathering data and putting together materials in order to determine the park's profitability. This helps you give a full picture of whether you want to acquire that park. But guess what? You aren't the only one who has a say. If you plan on getting financing from a bank or even raising capital from investors, they will expect to see a clean set of financials and a polished business plan. So the next module that we will jump into is financing materials. We'll teach you how to put these together so that when you walk into a bank or you approach investors, you will look and sound like a real estate finance professional. Now that we have our financing materials, we'll go out to the market for debt and possibly equity. In this section entitled The Financing Process, we'll tell you what you can expect when you walk through the doors of a bank or make that first call to an investor. We'll also discuss the different types of lenders that typically lend on mobile home parks and the structure of those loans that we typically see in the industry. On top of all that, we'll revisit some of the finance concepts that we previously discussed in the finance module. We'll talk about structuring partnerships with operating partners or writing yourself into the deal as the operating partner with financial upside. Okay, you've gotten your financing and now you have a more clear picture of the cost of debt and the cost of equity. Again, don't worry if you don't know what these specific terms mean right now. We will teach you along the way. The cost of debt and the cost of equity are two inputs that you will have already inputted into your model as initial assumptions. But after we go to the bank to get our financing, those assumptions may be materially different than what we initially expected. And in turn, that may impact the price that we can pay for that park. At this point, there may be a renegotiation if you don't believe you can hit the required returns at the previous agreed upon price. In this section entitled Renegotiation, we'll talk about renegotiations or retrading and the steps you'll need to take to do this effectively. We'll ensure you feel confident and that you're negotiating from a position of strength with all the right tools and analysis ready to present to the seller. Once you've agreed upon a final price, the only thing left to do is close. Here we'll walk you through the closing process, all the systems you should have in place ahead of time, and some of the things that can pop up that may delay your closing date. This module will be entitled Closing, which is the 5-yard line of the acquisitions process. We're in the red zone and we're gonna get you to the goal line so that you can do your touchdown dance. Whew, that was quite a long process. You have officially closed and the park is yours. Congratulations, let's take a moment to savor your successful acquisition. Right now, we'll try what's called positive visualization, a psychological trick that will increase your motivation and drive you towards your goals. I will be your shaman for the next 30 seconds as you follow me through this meditative exercise. Cue the music. Close your eyes and take a second to visualize yourself as a park owner. Think about all that you've accomplished to get to this point, all the obstacles you've overcome and the feeling of achieving that goal that you long set out to attain. You ignored all the negative self-talk and all the naysayers who doubted your resolve. Open your eyes. Did that feel good? Awesome. That 30 seconds is all the time you have to savor the moment because now is when the real work begins. It's time to execute that business plan that you worked so hard to put together. In this section entitled Immediate Improvements and CapEx Items Post-Close, we'll talk about the things you should prioritize as soon as you close, including the systems you should have up and running and the CapEx items that you should immediately get started on. Once we have put out all the initial fires and we're settled into the owner's seat, we'll begin talking about how we're going to optimize operations and improve the park's performance from both a revenue and expense standpoint. This will be one of the larger modules in the course because it is so important to the overall success of your business that you have good operations. In this module, we're going to take a look at all the optimizations that we've made in our portfolio, and we'll talk about the systems and the importance of building them in order to save you money and scale in the future. Now that you've optimized your operations, let's ensure that you can track the performance of your park and your portfolio on an ongoing basis. This will allow you to make adjustments based on the KPIs or key performance indicators that you'll be tracking. I want you to jump in a time machine to the end of your business plan. It's 5 to 10 years from now. You have purchased a park or multiple parks, and you've optimized them and you've stabilized their performance. All the KPIs that you need to track are coming through and they are fantastic. Someone comes to you with an offer and it looks incredible, but is it incredible? How do we know that that offer is actually incredible? It's a good question and we're going to help you answer it. We'll teach you how to put yourself in the mindset of a seller, understand how the sales price will affect your returns, and create a buy-side model for your park so that you can test the buyer's offer and get a good idea of market price. We'll also walk through the sales process and explore on-market versus off-market strategies. The last topic that we will cover is repeat and scale. Here we'll talk about some of the lessons learned both personally and professionally as you repeat this process and scale your business. We'll dive into the mindset shift that will need to occur and the types of things that you will need to do differently as you scale. If your goal is to get to 80+ parks like Ryan, we're here to help you get there, and we are your biggest raving fans. So there you have it, the initial roadmap for the course. I hope you are as excited as I am to get underway with this incredible journey. As stated previously, we'll start with mindset. Pay close attention to this part of the course because it will make or break you as you venture out into the wilderness. Again, to extend this metaphor, we can give you all the tools and we can give you all the knowledge to survive in the wilderness. But if you don't have the grit or the proper mindset, when the going gets tough, you are going to crumble. Let's fortify your mind against the challenges that you will face along this journey. But until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you soon.